Good evening. Welcome to Options Center. Today was quite the day, to say the least. I'm doing an update quickly after the bell here so we can get this information out and you can, uh, show you what to expect in the upcoming days to weeks and even on the monthly time frame. So we're going to go through ES on multiple time frames. This is not an I told you so type video. This is a learning experience, and I don't want you to think that I'm one of those people on Twitter that said, I told you so, I knew it was going down, because nobody knows where it's going. But we follow our indicators, and we do the best that we can, probability wise, to see where the market goes. I had a terrible week last week in 2 days. Hold on, let me close the door here. Sorry, I got the dogs barking. So I had a terrible couple days last week, and just fought the trend to the upside because I did not think that the market would bounce as high as it did because of the situation that we're in. And so let's go into the charts, and I'll show you exactly what my thoughts are. And so we're starting off on ES on the monthly time frame. We're going to dive in a little bit. Notice, the MACD, it made its bearish crossover. We're not even to the zero line yet. It's a bear market. This is a monthly, long-term time frame. RSI is continuing to the downside, and it's rejecting off of the downtrend there. So those are signals in itself. Look at the 8 EMA that we talk about if you've seen our video before. By the way, if you're new here, go down to that bottom right hand corner, hit that Options Center logo, and subscribe. Also, don't forget the like buttons. It just helps everything out when we to get these videos out to everybody. The 8 EMA is our trending indicator, no matter what time frame we're on. And on this higher time frame, we back tested. We back tested this consolidation area, and you see we rejected off of that area alone, and also the 20 simple moving average, and also the 8 EMA. We couldn't stay above it. We closed above it, below it last month. And now this month, we're only almost halfway through, but you saw that we were over the 8 EMA. Everything started to look bullish. People are getting excited. And what did we do? All we did was backtest this range again. We backtested the range, and we also backtested the 8 EMA. We're rejecting off it in a big way today, and I do expect continuation to the downside. It's not going to be very slow. It may seem that way during the day because if you're staring at the screen, it's just grinding to the downside. But this should be a pretty swift move. And the bounces, don't try to play bounces unless you're scalping, like really small. I'm afraid that people will get caught in the bounces, because I don't think at this point we're going to reach any 618 retracements and things like that. It's possible. Anything's possible. I didn't think it would happen to us on that bounce back up into CPI numbers. So anyway, let's move to our target here. Our first target, where we should see some sort of reaction off of on a monthly time frame, is 3,500 area. That's a 50% retracement from the Corona crash low to the high, and that's just a good place. It's also the 50-month simple moving average, so we should see some sort of reaction here. But we may pause at that point and move sideways for a little bit in some sort of, I do believe, a minor wave 4, and then we start moving down to the 618. That should be the 3,200 area, and that's where we start to cover some of our longer term shorts and see what happens from there, because I do believe that should be a 5-wave move, and then we should see a significant bounce probably. And this is all very predictive, but this is a pathway. I do have my pathway for Elliott wave analysis on my Patreon if you're interested in seeing that daily on lower and higher time frames. But we should see a reaction there, bounce off of that 50 that was support, now resistance, and then head lower at that point. I do believe that we're heading much lower. I would suspect that this 2200 area is more of the target, and you know, by then we're going to accelerate, so we're probably not going to stop right on a dime there. We have the 200-month moving average there, so that's a possible target. It's much lower, but guys, this isn't going to happen overnight. So just continue to watch these videos. Hit the notification button so you can receive notifications when I put out my videos. Okay, let's move on down to the weekly time frame. See what else we can get out of these charts. So this weekly time frame, we had our 5-way move up. Let's go in a little closer. And what's happening is we're setting lower highs and lower lows. I do that all the time. But you see this this resistance point, that was just such a major area to where we bounced off of it, broke down from it, retested it. You know, it's around that 4,000 area. So you see we came down, and once we found support back there, we went to go test it again, and we had a fake break. So now we're actually starting to move to the downside from that. Fake breaks are very bearish or bullish if it were the other way around. Now, the support that we put in weeks or months ago, right here, that we came off of, that's not going to hold. That's just not likely to hold, you guys. This is an area of interest. We might pause there for a day, but you know, maybe that's where wave one really ends from this impulsive move. I think this is the minor wave one here, and then a minor wave two that came up really high and touched that 100-week simple moving average, and that's where we rejected, and we're starting to break down from there. But this area is not likely to hold again after this point. It did its job the first time, bounced, and now we're looking for a move further down. And don't pay too much attention. You know, this is a midpoint. If you have a larger channel, this would be the midpoint. So I do think, you know, that might be the area right here, the 3,500 area, that kind of represents that 50% retracement where we were. Also the 200-day 200-week moving simple moving average. So if you notice this confluence of area, that was on the monthly as well as the 50%, and we should get a slight bounce off of there and some sort of movement, and from there move down and start testing lower levels in this 3,200. This has been there forever, you guys. I did not just place this here. And so let's bring this up to where it's no coincidence that, sorry, one sec, August, September. All right. So now we brought it up to this area here, and notice that it's the 3,200 area. That's no coincidence. That's a 61.8 retracement that I was talking about. So we bounce, get a reaction off this one, break down, come down to this area. That also shows this massive move that we had back and forth here, ping-ponged, and then broke out from there. So this is a super important area. This is a super important area as well. So on the weekly time frame, that's what we're looking at, really getting some reactions off of. And you know, those are just point of interest. You know, I don't know if it's going to continue to go further down, right, and just slice through these. But just know that that's where I would take positions for reversals and play those bounces and whatnot. So let's move down to the daily time frame. Trend is our friend, and now we have some of these tighter levels here. We had a breakout, came to resistance, broke down. That's a fake break from this area, and just a massive move down. So I don't I don't know if we'll break down as extreme as this one. I mean, that was nonstop every single day. We are placed. We do have positions to where if that did happen, that's that we would definitely profit from all of that. We did not. We hardly took off any positions. We rolled out most of our positions, and I don't even think I have like any weeklies for this week left. So we do expect a bounce pretty soon, fairly shallow, and I don't want to be stuck in that. And you know, during this week, I wanted the expirations because I know that this I not know, but I'm looking for this move to be uh, just consistent and just heading down with some bounces. Okay, so we're coming into a area 39.15. Um, we should probably test this area right here, probably overnight tonight. And then maybe that's the end of wave one, and we start to see a little bit of a bounce. You see, this is the demand area, and that was the supply area where we broke down from. So we should get some sort of little reaction here, but not much, and then continue to the downside where we might get some sort of little reaction here as well. These are good areas to be aware of. All right, sorry, this is a little bit longer video. Just want to be very specific after a day like this. What the heck, you know, some people are in shock and some traders are just baffled by what's happening. You see the indicator, the MACD tried to make a bull cross and it was completely rejected. Now on the RSI, we had a downtrend as well, broke out from that, came back underneath it, retested, and headed to the downside now. And I do believe we're going to break this this triangle pattern in the longer term. That's a triangle, just tightening up there. And I do think if we start to break that, we start to crack that, then we're going to head much lower. And we haven't even been oversold in a while. So I do suppose we'd get oversold and probably oscillate down here just a little bit. That's what I'm looking for if this is the minor wave 3 that we're getting into. All right, now let's go down to 65, see if there's anything else we can pull out of these charts. And you see, we came right up after breaking out, and we also had the contract roll here, breaking out. We continued. I fought the trend. You know, I got stopped out back here at 4,000. I got stopped out up here at 4,100. Just a ridiculous move straight up and right into the options expected move for the week. Now, if you're not familiar with options expected move, I do have an old video that I explain that, and I use options expected move as quite a bit for a target area because the options market usually is correct about it at least hitting that area. Now we're pushing in one single day. We came from one end of the options expected move down to the other, and we're continuing on through it. And if we start to break the options expected move, usually that's some sort of gamma squeeze, which can happen to the upside or downside, doesn't matter. So that's something to pay attention to. I do map them out. I used to be part of TheoTrade. I used to subscribe to them. And sorry, that's our Elliott wave for our patrons. In the where is the on the SPX we have the options expected move. Right there. And I map these out each and every week. It just helps. It's sort of like a football field. It's sort of like a field where you're in play most of the time. You have to be within this portion, and if you break down from here a certain amount, you know the price can start to accelerate, So they're just really good guidelines on what's happening. So if you see the options to expected move, I know it's the obvious that we're going sideways here, but that's the sort of playing field. It touches one of the sides over and over and over. So this is why I have it, just to kind of see what we're doing. And there's very few times when it doesn't touch either side, like this area here, and then that's a consolidation getting real tight, and then the week after we completely just annihilated, and came and gapped underneath the options expected move and accelerated. So and continued to breaking down. So anyway, I'll put that video, I'll clip it to the top portion of the screen. And back to the ES on the 65. So you might ask, where are we going from here? We have this uptrend, excuse me, rising pivot here. That can be lowered a little bit. There's, it's touching this area here. So we're kind of at that pivot, started to break down and broke back into it. So this is a good area to kind of pay attention to. I'll give the benefit of the doubt, and I'll lower here. And so we might actually just touch that a little bit. We might get a little bit of a bounce, likely to this options expected move, or if it comes up further, then probably this 4,000 area. But I don't see it going much further than that, with any sort of bounce. It's going to be grinding. It would be a minute wave 2, so maybe it is a pretty swift move to the upside, or it could be a flat. But and then so I'm not gonna put, I have one contract for a move up and the futures in the MES. So yes, I am playing the bounce, but I don't recommend you take overnight options or anything like that. We get that bounce, and then the wave 3 is going to be much bigger than this one, you guys. So I do suspect that we have a nice big move going into, or a part of next week. I would imagine that Wednesday and Thursday that we have some sort of corrective move, and we continue to the downside on either Thursday, late trade, or Friday. And then Friday should be a pretty big move into Monday and Tuesday. So that should be our wave 3 coming into next week. And so that's kind of the time frame I'm looking at, not really far away before we start moving and moving. And when you're in a wave 3 of 3, that's where you get your gap downs. Okay, so that's where you get your surprises. It looks like the market will stop right at a support area, and then the next day it's going to gap underneath it. So that's where you get your surprises there. So thank you, everybody, for joining us. This is a massive move. You're not going to see these all the time. I've been trading since like 2008, so I've seen a few of these moves. I do suspect this next one's going to be much more swift and relentless. So be careful. Don't try to play to the upside with anything large if you do. Okay, don't try to game it too much. All right, so thanks for joining us here, Option Center. Throw your comments in if you'd like, and don't forget the like button. Have a wonderful day. We'll talk to you soon.